Welcome to the Tothill project. We're about to undertake a short journey of discovery of about a mile in the St Jude's and the Tothill area of Plymouth. Beyond the bridge was once the location of Friary Station. Further back in history, the Whitefriars Monastery, where the Franciscans occupied the site, lends its name to the old Priory Station, now demolished, but once belonged to the South Western Railway Company. But today it is a trading estate. The old marshalling yard has been left to nature. What fascinates me is whether marginal land can support a range of wildlife. On the face of it, the land looks unkempt and scrubby. We are going to follow the tracks, which is the only remnant of the railway heritage, and observe the natural reclamation of the verges. What is striking is that it seems pioneer species become established, acting like nurseries for slower growing bigger woodland trees to become established. Is this renaturing intended, or is it just by neglect that these shrubs are growing? Indeed, is this natural reclamation being studied at all? Even trees have become a feature of the roadside. Our journey begins at St Jude's Church, roughly following the railway down to the Plymouth estuary. En route, we'll take in Tothill Park, which provides a juxtaposition to the unmanaged scrubland. Its tall lime trees and sound of birdsong is a different habitat, but it's still attractive to many common bird species like goldfinches. We'll return to the railway and follow it down to the river estuary. Looking back in history, the landscape was a lot different. Large inlets and creeks were a feature of this landscape. Tothill Park was once one of those creeks, known as Tothill Bay. Tothill, by the way, is derived from an old word which means lookout point, which presumably was higher up the hillside. Overlaying my inaccurately drawn sketch map, we can see how the park was once a creek. In 1802 the embankment was built and a toll road placed upon it. The effect was to prevent water from entering the creeks. The Plymouth-Dartmoor Railway was extended from Crabtree further up at the head of the Plymouth estuary. It brought granite to Sutton Pool from Dartmoor. By the end of the 1800s the railways were booming, and Southern Railway and the Great Western Railway battled for supremacy. Entering into the 20th century, urban dwelling had spread out to Mount Gald, and a network of roads and houses had become established. By the early 21st century, much of the early railways had gone, or had been updated, but our railway remained intact, although seldom used. Overlaying a present-day aerial photo, care of Google Maps, we can see how the old railway site on my inaccurate sketch map follows the route along the edge of the inlet. And this is going to be the basis of our journey. We have reached Tothill Park, lined with lush shrubs and trees. Nearby, built into a stone wall, are arches, now filled in. Are these arches evidence of a maritime past, a place to put boats, or is the information I received questionable? What is of note is the yellow and red brick used as arches for these apertures. Around the perimeter are mature lime trees, which stand majestic, providing cover for a variety of bird species. I have seen blackbirds, sparrows, chaffinches, goldfinches, wrens. The raucous of herring gulls reminds us that we are in a coastal city. At the raised head of the park, there is an avenue of tall cypress trees. The ornamental garden gives way to a flat area of playing and sports fields. Younger trees have been planted over the years, which will mature into a copse. It is here we rejoin the old railway, with its wild verges. Beyond this, we can see the new housing development. The last part of our investigation takes us along the cycle path recently constructed by Sustrans. It follows the railway track, the last section down to the Plym estuary, which is often referred to as the Lera. As I made this video in late June, there are a lot of wildflowers on show, like these valerian. In the garden, they may well be called weeds. Here a bee settles on a honeysuckle. Abundant are the blackberries. Attractive to butterflies are buddleia. However, along this section are ivy, sorrel, bindweed, valerian, honeysuckle, oilseed rape, herb robert, and several other species of plant. Notice how dense the undergrowth has become along the tract of land that once formed the Plymouth-Dartmoor Railway and Southern Railway from Sutton Harbour in the Barbican. We continue over the Embankment Road, a very busy arterial route in and out of Plymouth. Note how straight the road is, as it follows the original embankment built in the early years of the 1800s. Leaving the busy road, what is striking is the abundance of birdsong, mostly goldfinch, but occasionally you can hear the greenfinches buzz. This wild cherry tree puts on a lustrous display of blossom in spring. By early July, the cherries are ripe enough to pick, if you can reach them. At Blagdon Meadows, our more recent land reclamation scheme has a small business park at one end. Here starts the last couple of 100 yards to the end of our walk to Lara Bridge. It is along this stretch that all manner of shorebirds can be seen at low tide. Cormorants, shags, oyster catchers, redshanks, shelduck, curlew, for example. The old railway track brings us to Lara Bridge, where the Lara Heritage Trail people have provided plaques to keep us informed of the significance of the railway. From Lara Bridge, there is a stark juxtaposition between the noisy traffic and the urban environment and the natural reclamation along the railway berges. To play you out, here's a reminder why this rough margin land is a significant wildlife habitat.